Here it is that my job is to literally help people with their relationships.
Yeah.
But I was finding that our relationship was being challenged.
Don't restrict yourself because of what society thinks.
Can I get my husband back? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know if I like my business partner.
They actually did not pay their last invoice. Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
So good to see you.
So
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Come on in and have a seat.
Thank you.
So, girl, what
Yes.
is the traffic like getting here?
You know what? I will not complain because the weather is beautiful outside.
Okay, so first of all,
Yes.
let's talk about this crazy weather.
Right?
It's
we get cold, hot.
we got like last Sunday, I think it was like 14, 15 inches of snow.
Yes.
Right? So, but the difference was we weren't in the Antarctic.
Yes.
Like the previous snow. So
Yes.
it started melting pretty
Yeah.
fast. So I was like kind of happy about that. But now I think they're talking about snow again or something
I
crazy.
hope not. I think we've had enough snow for the entire season.
I think so too.
But today the snow is melting. It's like 45 degrees. And so now it feels like, it's summertime outside. So I'm excited.
I like it. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about the seasons
Yep.
for me. I one day
Yeah.
would love to live in a warm climate.
Yeah, same.
However,
Uh-huh.
I do feel like, Rasheeda, there's something amazing about seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like seasons allow you to appreciate not only where you're at now,
Yep.
but they allow you to appreciate where you're
Oh,
going.
I see where you're going with that.
So
That's
winter
great.
is cold and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for spring. And then I get there and
Yeah.
I'm like so appreciative because of what I was in.
Yes.
And now I can appreciate where I'm at.
Wow.
Right?
That's a metaphor for seasons and in life.
Seasons, life, relationships.
Yes.
And so with that,
Yep.
welcome to the Ask Dr. Argie podcast
Excited.
where courageous conversations connect.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. So I got so much. Get comfortable, girl.
Okay,
Get
yes.
comfortable. Get
Well, I
comfortable.
actually, I'm doing, okay, I have a swollen foot right now. And so I'm trying my best to stay off of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
Like
part
keep
of
that
age.
elevated. You should have told me because we would have had like a little
Oh.
thing to rest your feet or
Thank
something.
you.
In my office upstairs, we have cushions, we
Yes.
have throws, we have tea, we have
Yes.
like whatever I want, whatever my clients want to make them feel comfortable.
Well, the tea is helping, so thank you.
Good. So here's, I got so many things.
Mhm.
So many things. First of all, I just found out, so I'm uber elated
Yes.
that you are my soror.
Hi, Sora. Yes, I love it.
Oh my God. So you're in Chester County?
Chester alumni, which is in Delaware County.
Chester alumni.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm Quaker City alumni.
Okay, yeah.
We're literally about my line sisters. We're planning our, anniversary, Deltaversary.
Which year? What year are you?
99, spring 99.
Okay, so you're almost
26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just celebrated our 16th.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So we're 10 years behind.
Nice.
Yes.
There's something about being a Delta girl.
Oh my goodness. It's
know?
it's been a big blessing in my life and a dream come true for me.
Now,
so.
did you pledge undergrad or
Grad?
Grad.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Now, I will say
Yeah.
I did go out twice undergrad,
Yeah,
but the timing is everything.
Exactly.
And, people get tired of me saying this sometimes,
Yeah.
but I do say delayed does not mean to time.
That's very true.
And I also believe that some of the most important experiences of our lives are when we don't get what we think we want when we want it.
Yep.
When it's delayed, when God says, yeah, but not now.
Yep.
And that means that we got to cook some more, we got to develop some
Not
more.
quite ready.
We're not quite ready,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean no.
Yeah.
It just means keep grinding, keep working, don't quit,
Yeah.
keep going after your dreams. And eventually you will get what you want as long, to me, as it's according to God's
will. That's right.
That part.
I mean, going back to the seasons, right? When that groundhog said 6 more weeks of winter,
my
we were like, wait a
gosh.
second. It's been a harsh winter already.
Like, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we not do that?
I too went out twice before I became
Did
a Delta.
you? See,
Yep.
we got that.
I didn't have the opportunity in undergrad, unfortunately.
Okay.
Chapter wasn't active.
Uh-huh.
I graduated the next year. The chapter came back.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my goodness, my chances have, moved on. But then I got an opportunity It didn't work out. And then another opportunity, it didn't work out. And, a lot of times when you are feeling like you're being called to something and it doesn't quite work out, you still keep persisting. So when my time was right, it happened. And here I am 16 years later.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that gives me chills. It gives me chills. I mean, I feel like some of our young people need to hear this story.
Yeah.
Right? They need to hear that the reality is that you are not going to get everything that you want. You're not going to get it exactly when you want it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it will literally be right on time.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So here's another fun fact. We
Yeah.
got a lot in common.
Yes.
y'all. We got a lot
Okay.
in
I
common.
love it.
And here at the Ask Dr. Argie podcast, we really believe in Courageous Conversations Connect. This is my book,
Yes.
right?
I love that.
And this is the second edition, A Pathway to Reset Your Mindset with Intentional Thoughts from the Inside Out.
Yeah.
This is our second edition. It's pretty cool. I believe it's life-changing for people. And you work with your husband.
Yeah.
You were telling me that a little bit earlier that you've been in the design business for 10 years.
Yes.
You've been working with your husband for 6 years.
Yep.
I too, I've been a therapist and done this mental health work and relationship work for 30 years. I hope I don't look
Girl,
like
you
it.
look like you're 35. Okay. That is amazing.
I don't look at you
No,
like
not
that.
at all.
And my husband and I, we've been in this business. We got married 11 years ago. It's an interesting journey because the truth is that 30 days after my mom passed away, she passed away from lung cancer. She lived to be 80. She lived a beautiful life.
That's a blessing.
But 30 days later, we got married. So
Wow.
within 30 days, it was literally the lowest point of my life.
Wow.
Talking about the seasons,
Yeah.
right? And the highest point of my life. And we both decided that we did not want to waste time.
Yeah.
Right? Like you get to a point in your life where you realize that your runway is a little bit shorter and you don't want to waste time.
That's
And
right.
so we didn't want to spend all of our time working to build somebody else's dreams
that's
when we could be working to build our own.
I love that.
So we
Same.
decided to he left corporate. I left academia. I was
Wow.
there for 22 years. We decided to bet on ourselves. And here we are with a mental health enterprise, 3 different businesses, doing our podcast, going on book tours, and really impacting, we believe, the masses when it comes to mental health and wellness.
Wow.
And I feel like it doesn't get any better than that.
No.
When dreams become your reality.
You get to do what you love.
Yeah.
And because you were obedient to God, He is now rewarding you because you're sharing your gift with the world. And so I'm excited to see that blessing unfold for you guys. Yeah.
So listen, real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk about working with your partner.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned some things,
It's a
Rasheeda.
journey.
I learned some things.
We're going to have to get a glass of wine to talk about that one.
Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
All in love. All in love.
Absolutely.
So here's a couple of things I learned. And when you're an entrepreneur, number one, my husband always say I was playing entrepreneurship because I have a small practice and I worked in academia.
Oh, I see.
And so he would say things like, well, okay, what's your projections?
Yeah.
I'm like, projections.
Right.
He was like, I was like, well, I don't really know. He was like, okay, well, tell me where you're at financially, where you want to be.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know.
You were treating it like a hobby of sorts.
Was.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, let me tell you why I know that you're playing entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And at that time, it wasn't PayPal and Venmo and Cash App and all that. And I would keep checks in my purse for like a month.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, no entrepreneur does that.
No, as soon as you get the check, you're going to the bank.
Right? These days, it's like cha-ching, 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 right in the bank. And so I learned a lot of things from him.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know that, one, I would have wanted to be on this journey with anybody else but him.
Oh, hello.
Right?
Yep.
Because he wants me to win. He's my biggest cheerleader. And I trust him immensely.
Yep. That's
But
it.
I also had to understand that I had lived my life being the expert.
Yeah.
And there were some things that I was not the expert in. And I needed to learn how to zip it.
And delegate and get the help necessary.
Get the help. I could not do everything.
Yep.
I also learned that we were good at different things.
Yes.
And if we were getting over in each other's lanes,
that's where
then
the
we
conflict
would start
comes in.
canceling each other out. We would be frustrating each other.
Yep.
I'd be like, I'm going to the other office.
Yeah.
You staying home.
Right.
And it was creating a lot of tension.
Yep.
And here it is that my job is to literally help people with their relationships.
Yeah.
But I was finding that our relationship was being challenged,
Yep.
right?
It will do that.
That we needed to start having, and we're great at communication,
Yeah.
right? In a lot of ways. But when it came to this working together thing,
it's a different
I'm like,
dynamic.
can I get my husband back? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know if I like my business partner.
Yep.
But we had to learn to communicate more effectively in different spaces.
Yeah.
And we also had to learn that there were some places that were off limits. So when we have our date night, every Friday night, no shop talk.
No,
No
at
shop
all.
talk.
Yeah.
That's when we get to have fun.
Yeah.
For you, what were the biggest lessons?
You know, you've touched on quite a few of them. So as you mentioned, my husband and I work together. He's the owner of he's a general contractor, the owner of a construction firm, Gray Contracting and Construction. And then I own an interior design firm, Gray Space Interiors. And so for the first 4 years or so, I was building my business. And I would go to him with concerns about contractors. And, you know, fast forward, he said, you know, we flip houses on the side. We do this work ourselves. How about I sign on to be your contractor? And I was like, okay, I think that can work. And I don't trust anyone else more than I trust you. And so that's how we started working together. And now we're doing our design and construction projects in tandem. But along the way, there's been quite a few lessons. And one of the first ones was identifying what our strengths are inside of business. A lot of that transfers over from the home. And so if in the home, you're the better communicator with our children, then perhaps that is a role that you can serve in the business. And another thing that we've learned along the way is we see each other. It's exciting to see each other after work. It's exciting to be able to reconnect. Sometimes at work, we try to separate ourselves from from talking all. Okay, I don't talk to my husband at work.
Oh, okay. So how does that work?
I try my best not to. So what we've done is we've employed our team to be able to, sometimes I'm a bottleneck. And so you alluded a little bit to being the, did you say technician? Is that the word that you said?
I'm a practitioner. Yeah. Clinician.
But maybe you alluded to doing the work and not being able to take your head outside of the everyday work to work on the business. And so I've learned through this journey that in order for the business to grow, I have to separate myself from the work a bit, delegate that to someone else on the team so that I can grow the business. And so when my husband, who's also my contractor, calls and says, hey, what's the grout color? Or, you know, which way should this tile be laid? I've now set up a system where my team member is able to jump in, and that minimizes the amount of work interaction that we have so that we can build the businesses, but also it allows for excitement when you get home. Oh, I haven't talked to you all day today. What's going on? Or we're not carrying those conversations over from work into home because usually we have an established once a week meeting where we're talking about sort of high-level CEO things. So those are some of the things that we do, kind of delegate some of the day-to-day so that we can focus on putting our marriage first and then delegate into others separately.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. One of the second chapter in this book is The Cost of Love, Money, Sex, and Kids.
Oh, wow.
How to win in your relationships, right? And I think that money, I know for sure, after doing this work for so long, that money can be a barrier to healthy communication and intimacy.
Yes.
Especially if you've got a saver and a spender, or your history around money is different than your partner's.
Yeah.
Sex and intimacy is essential.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
It is not just procreation.
Hello.
It is recreation.
Yes, it is.
It should be an interesting, fun, exciting thing to do.
A way to continue to be connected.
Right? And then those kids now, if you do have kids, whether they're the kids that are adults that boomerang back or young children, or you have a blended family, oftentimes it can be a barrier because you're managing parenting styles differently, you're communicating differently, you may have a different family of origin background in terms of parenting. So all of those things can derail a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
So you know, when I think about navigating for you as you're, you know, scaling your business or for anyone that is an entrepreneur, one of the things I say to people is, you gotta honor the 4 T's. No matter whether you work together or you don't work together. The 4 T's are truth, trust, transparency.
Oh, yeah, that's
that lead to transformational breakthroughs.
Oh, that's really good.
Right? And you can wash, rinse, and repeat that in any scenario that you're in.
Yeah.
The question is, are you speaking truth to power, whatever the powers may be? Do you trust the person that you have the closest proximity to, whether it be in work or whether it be in love?
Yep.
Are you able to then go deeper? Because the truth is, we don't want to go wider, we want to go deeper. And that transparency is going to allow us to go deeper, even if we're saying things that we're a little bit scared, shaking in our boots, and we don't want to say because we don't want to be judged. But if you trust that person, then they've earned it, then you need to go deeper with transparency that then leads to breakthroughs. Because how are you in a long-term relationship when you don't have those continual breakthroughs?
Those critical components.
So for you, Rasheeda, have you ever found yourself in any relationship having issues with truth or trust?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So my husband and I have been married for 19 years this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So drop the mic.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And
when's
so
your anniversary?
August 10th.
August 10th. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Summer. Your summer marriage.
He picked the date, and I love it. And so for us, there has been a continuum of just growing together, checking in, revamping our communication styles with each other, revamping. Even if you're with someone for such a long time, you really need to continue to learn each other because everyone evolves and grows. And so in that, you may find some difficulty with truth telling or sharing this new version of who you are. And like, you have to find a way to communicate that in a way that is received by your partner. So yeah, even within my own marriage, you know, our children are older now. And so our my son is 21 this year and my daughter is 16 this year.
Okay.
And so when our son went away to college, we were like, okay, we're on our way to becoming empty nesters. This is a different dynamic. And as a woman, there were times in our marriage and our lives where my family was first and foremost. And so when someone asks me, what's your hobbies? I'd be like, oh, I don't know, working the kids? Like, you know, I don't know. I lost that along the way. And so now that our children are older, I'm rediscovering that. And so sometimes it's even challenging to communicate that to your partner, that you're evolving into this different version of who you are. Yeah, but we wholeheartedly believe in therapy. We every couple of years, we're just like, let's get back on the couch, just to check in and make sure that we're communicating well with each other, because that's the key to it all.
Here's the thing, and I'm so glad you said that, because therapy for anyone, here's my prayer, that anyone that is struggling with anything or feels like they need maintenance, because life is lifing all day, every day.
Yes.
Right? And so if you're individual or you're in a relationship, or you're thinking about being in a relationship, just kind of having those touch points or that sacred safe space with somebody that you trust that can help you on your journey.
A non-biased, neutral party.
Neutral, but also most importantly, safe.
Yeah.
Creating that safe space for you all to speak truth. And for me, I've had people that were with me for many years. They then left, they flew, like, okay, you know, therapists work themselves out of a job. Life happens, somebody dies, somebody loses a job, somebody gets sick, we have a pandemic, they come back. And that's absolutely okay. Whether it's short term or whether it's long term. And I don't think anybody would ever get an argument if they went to a personal trainer, and then that personal trainer says, you need to continue this. They wouldn't say, oh, no, I don't need to continue that. No. This is a mind, body, and spirit, and it needs to be ongoing.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
So what's the biggest thing that you actually learned in therapy?
Okay, one of the biggest takeaways that we make sure that we exercise in our marriage on a daily basis is to listen, to understand, not listen to respond.
Ooh.
So a lot of times, you know, there's a discussion, maybe it gets heated, and you're thinking of what you're going to say to rebuttal
Of course.
what your partner is saying.
Mhm.
And so we're learning to slow down and really listen to what they're saying, even if we don't agree. That way they feel heard, and you can, you know, likely will change your perspective. But yeah, that's what we do.
So we call that multi-directed partiality,
Uh-huh.
right? What that really means is that everyone has not only a seat at the table,
Yeah.
but everyone has a voice in the room.
Yeah.
And when you are listening to understand, not listening for full agreement, because you're two different people, but if you understand where your partner is coming from, and they understand where you're coming from, then you can create both common ground and empathy, right, for that other person.
That's right.
You might not ever get to full agreement, but I can tell you the arguments that totally dissipate when one feels heard, when they do not feel invisible, and when they feel understood.
So true.
Right? Now, we don't even have to go to problem solving, because the bottom line is that's all I really wanted. I wanted you to get
Thank
how
you for
I'm
hearing
feeling,
me.
right? Thank you for hearing me. Let's go to lunch. Right? You know, let's go have a cocktail.
That's right.
And so those are the skills that I teach every day when I'm working with people. Now, sometimes the truth is people come to you and the trauma is so deep that the work is continually ongoing. And I like to tell people, like, be patient with yourself. Sometimes the question people want to ask is, well, how long is it going to take, Dr. Argie? And I'm like, well, how long did it take for you to get here?
2 years, right?
And so if it took you many years to get to this point, to the extent that you were now ready to receive this help, then let's not rush this thing.
That's right, because we want to get it right.
We want to get it right so that then you go on to live the best version of your life that you are deserving of. And so you have amazing, impeccable, beautiful, juicy, hot, and sexy relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
We all deserve that.
And not only your one intimate relationship, but what about your relationship with your children? Or your siblings, or your family, or your friends? We're all relational beings. This is how we're wired.
Or your clients.
Or your clients, which I have, of course, all the time. And so, no, you have clients. So listen, I want to switch gears for a moment and ask you about this elusive thing that many of us struggle with. And it's work-life balance.
Oh, very elusive.
The thing that is not a thing, right? And so a lot of people say, Dr. Argie, like, I want to find balance in my life. And one of the things I say is, okay, if you want to find balance, why are you operating out of balance?
Right? True.
And why are you lying to yourself, quite frankly, where the audio doesn't match the video? Because sometimes what the balance looks like, and it's not comparing yourself to anybody else, it's saying, for me, what feels grounded? What feels like I'm centered?
That's right. There is no
how can I
perfect
move
solution.
in alignment? Right? And so for you, like, when you think about balance for yourself, what does balance look like for you? What does self-care look like for you?
Oh, that's a big part of my life right now. So first of all, alignment is my word for the year. And so,
I knew we were connected.
I love it. I love it. When you said that, I was like, whoa. But for me, you know, I want to work smarter, not harder. I want to work with clients who are aligned with the direction that our design firm is going in. And I want that for the other aspects of my life. I spent 10 years building this business. And, you know, in the beginning, it's
Congratulations,
hustle.
by the way.
Thank you.
That's no small feat.
No, not at all, right? So thank you for that. But I was very much in hustle mode, and, you know, the grind doesn't stop until I started to feel imbalanced, burnt out. The thing that I love, which is design, I started to not like. And I was like, how is my passion becoming something that I dread waking up for? And so that started to happen a couple years ago. And I was like, okay, we have to change something. And so for me, what that looks like is saying no to the wrong clients or passing them on to the right designer. I always say that. It also looks like exploring what are those hobbies that you like to enjoy, because I made my hobby design my business. And so now I have to go back and tap into who I am now as a person and discovering what I like to do. So I am playing tennis. I am, yes.
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
in 2 or 3 book clubs. Now I got to
Okay.
realize I need to scale it back a
Okay.
little bit,
Okay.
but I'm
Well, you know,
enjoying
you
all
gotta read
those
this one.
things. There we go. I'm going to suggest it for our next read.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of self-discovery happening right now. And that's a part of my self-care journey. But yeah, balance is not, it's elusive, like you said.
Mhm.
And sometimes my family gets 100% of me, and sometimes they'll get less than 50. And the thing that keeps me okay with that is that the 100% is totally that. Like, I'm not distracted by something else. And the other thing that's realistic for me is because I'm an entrepreneur, I can involve my family into my business. And so just last week, my daughter and I went on a business trip together to Orlando. She got to go to SeaWorld. She was my social media person while we were on the trip, and we spent time together.
Nice.
And so my life is a whole. It's not just I'm an entrepreneur over here, my family is separate from that. I work those things together because that's all a part of who I am, as well as tennis on Thursday afternoons.
I like that. My husband was a tennis player many years
Oh,
ago.
that's
And so
amazing.
we've talked about like what is the activity that we're going to do together because that's really, really important.
Yes.
Along with taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm a fangirl. I
Oh,
watch Homeworthy.
yay!
I watch Homeworthy.
Thank
I
you.
watch HGTV, but
Thank you.
specifically Homeworthy. And I was saying that
Yeah.
I love it because they have such a breadth of diversity in the homes that they go into.
Yeah, I really love that.
And so when I saw you on there, you and your husband, I was like, yes.
Yes.
Because one, I like to see people that look like me.
Hello.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then the fact
Same.
that you're in Philly
Yep.
and, you know, the fact that you have design, one of the things that I learned is that you are the first in your family to go to a four-year institution and that you connected design with marketing,
Yeah.
their passion. And so someone like myself who's been in media for many years and been on a national platform, I know what it's like. I also know what it's like when people want to change the direction of where the product is going.
Oh, yeah.
And so this idea of like hold true to you. Who is the organic person that you want to present to the world?
Yeah.
And to hold your ground.
Yeah.
You know, and not allow anyone to shift that direction of who you are.
Absolutely.
Both to your source.
Yeah.
For me, it's God.
Yeah.
And then who I am to the world, but most importantly, the people that are close proximity.
Yeah.
My husband, my family, my children, my grandchildren. And so for you, when you entered into that big stage, was that scary? Did you have trepidation? How did that feel for you?
So on HGTV, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's been a journey, right? The HGTV show that we were on, Renovation Resort Showdown, that aired last summer, that was an amazing experience. We did 8 episodes, which is one entire season. And I was super intentional about how I wanted to present myself on television. And I wanted it to be in alignment with who I am overall.
There's that word alignment.
Yeah, there we go. And that's been a constant for me. And I'm also well aware that I was the only Black woman. My husband and I were the only Black couple on the show. And so that's something that is always in the background because, you know, our community is important to us and how we present ourselves is important as well. But I wanted to be authentic. So if there was a moment in time my husband and I had miscommunication, then that gets showed on television. And you'll notice if you watch that show, Renovation Resort, many times maybe the judges might indicate that our home is beautiful, but it felt maybe too high end for a vacation rental because that was what the home was supposed to be. That was intentional for me because those are the types of clients that I want to attract. And so I design in my own aesthetic, but in a way that attracts those sorts of clients. So yeah, I think when you have a large platform like that, you have to be intentional because branding, which is what I did before I became a designer, is a repetitive action. You know, how someone sees you and how you show up from what you wear to the colors that you wear to what your social media looks like. those things all need to be in alignment. And so I was super intentional about the way that we showed up on television. And does that feel similar to our real lives? And does that translate to our businesses?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
People often, we had a funny moment today where we were talking about extemporaneously and the word, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And I use it often because I am able on national platforms or local platforms, wherever I'm speaking, to speak extemporaneously. But the reason why I do it so well is because I have internalized a lot of what I do so that it's not me just memorizing and being here and, you know, showing up with a script. It really is the authentic part of who I am as a spiritual being having a human experience. And part of that human experience people get to see on bigger platforms, right? And if I was acting or faking it or, you know, I was out there, you know, being somebody different than who I am, then it wouldn't be as fluid.
That's a lot of
and
hard
honest.
work.
Girl.
That's a lot of work. And that is one of the reasons I left corporate. And so my background is I graduated with a degree in marketing. I have an MBA as well. And I worked in marketing and business development for 15 years. And I was climbing the corporate ladder, you know, got the promotions and the money and the travel. It was great. But then something felt disconnected. And what I quickly realized is that I was not connected to who I truly am. And so I was showing up differently at work than I would show up in life. And when I had started this business, I had to remind myself constantly, don't go back to what you think you're supposed to do in corporate. Like, this is your business. You design it the way that you want to. And so if that means you wear your hair a certain way, or if that means that you wear certain clothing, that, you know, don't restrict yourself because of what society thinks. This is your opportunity when you are starting a business or building one to ingrain who you are into that business.
Yeah. I love that. You know, I did not work in corporate. I worked in academia for many years. And I always say that academia was good to me until it wasn't. Right? As this little black girl that had a dream and wanted to be the first person in my family to acquire a PhD. And it's the highest scholastic degree that you can do. I did that. And there were places and spaces within that PWI, because I started out at Howard University. The Howard University, right? I started out there, and that gave me this power and this agency and this ability to walk forward boldly. And that allowed me to move into the PWI, predominantly white institution, in a way that allowed me to feel grounded. And I also had beautiful people surrounding me. I had mentors that looked like me, that wanted me to win, if you will. And then over the years, it changed. It shifted. It did
the higher that you go and the different spaces that you're in, that starts to shift.
And I had a decision to make. Do I stay in a space that does not really serve me very well and, quite frankly, doesn't seem to value me as a Black woman? Or do I bet on myself? And my husband and I decided to bet on ourselves. The thing about it, though, is that it is an interesting journey. It's filled with twists and turns and ups and downs. And it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. And if you're not ready for the dips and the peaks and the valleys, it can throw you off course. And it certainly can send you running in another direction. Saying like, I quit, right? And so that's an interesting particular part of the journey. And I would say, one, I wouldn't trade it. But I would also say I had to like get my skills up. Right? I had to step it up a notch. And for me, that was really difficult because, again, people come to me in the most darkest moments of their lives. I call myself the emotional firefighter because firefighters go towards the fire. They don't run away from the fire. So I was very good at that. But when I found myself in a terrain that was unfamiliar, entrepreneurship was unfamiliar. I was newly married. I had a lot of new things to learn, and I had to find some skills. And then I realized, hey, I'm teaching these other people this. I need to reteach myself. So when I got into conflicts, oftentimes, I would say, what is the 5-step process? For me, the 5 steps process was, you gotta pause. You gotta breathe. I'm big on big breaths, right?
Yeah.
You got to reflect what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to identify the trigger. That's
Yeah.
somewhere that stops people cold sometimes.
Yeah.
What's triggering you? Because sometimes what's triggering you means that the action does not match the infraction.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm acting a certain way, but the infraction wasn't really that bad. Maybe the trigger is something that that person doesn't even know anything about. And they're now asked to cash a check that they didn't even write.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the identifying the trigger. And then finally, then you respond differently.
Yeah.
So it's like a 5-step process. Do you have a process that you use when you feel like you're off your square, whether it be in work or in, you know, your personal life?
Yeah. I think part of what we've learned in therapy throughout the years is to pause and before you react. And so I'm trying to teach that to my 21-year-old son because
good luck.
he is. I'm like, stop flying off the handle. Think about this.
Mood dysregulation.
Yes. And so, you know, even as his mother, it's a journey for me. So definitely pausing. But sometimes I am very much aware of when I'm overwhelmed and when I need to tap out. Because as an entrepreneur, you're selling, you're interacting with people all the time. And sometimes, you know, that combined with conflict can be combustible. And for me, I will say, you know what? I'm going to spend the evening home by myself. I am going to engage myself into something that resets me. So whether that is a bubble bath or it is going to the movies by myself. But sometimes, you know, I need a reset. And those things help me to do it.
Yeah, the pause, the reset, the recalibration, the restoration, and then rejuvenation.
And sometimes that reset involves spending time with my husband too. Because that's, you know, that's my person. So if I need to recharge that way, that's great.
The person. We have so much in alignment. There are the F words that I talk about. Family, fun, fellowship, friendship, right? Finance, which is really important. And then there's the ultimate F word, right? We can't unpack all of them, but maybe you'll come back and we'll unpack some.
Oh, I love that.
But the ultimate F word is forgiveness. And I often say, if you have not been on a journey of forgiveness of yourself or other people, keep living.
Yeah.
Because most of us will find ourselves either being the one to have to forgive someone, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, or the one that is asking for forgiveness. And so that forgiveness journey, I believe, is a transformative one. And I wonder for you, how have you embraced forgiveness, especially in your intimate relationships?
Yeah. Gosh, you know, where do I start with that?
I told you it was that
I
ultimate
lived a little bit. Yes. Okay. I had to really employ forgiveness with a particular client. And the project just kind of went to the left along the way. And this was early in my career. And so as a result, I tightened up some of my processes and there were ownership on both sides. So the client side and then our firm side. But the way that the client reacted, they didn't want to resolve what the issue was. And we were, you know, sort of begging and pleading, like, let's work through this. And they actually did not pay their last invoice. And it was a big amount. And so that left me feeling bitter and discouraged. And I didn't get to photograph the project. And it was a beautiful project. Like some of the reasons the client didn't want to continue just didn't make sense to me. I've later sort of come to realize there could be something going on in their life that was so outside of what we were doing. So fast forward, I felt myself bringing that hurt into the next few client relationships and changing my processes so much so that it was almost negative for the client experience. And I really had to take a step back and say, why are you doing design again? And that why is bigger than one client. My role as a designer is not just to fluff pillows or select a chair. I am positively impacting someone's environment, which impacts their life. When you walk through the door of your home and everything's where it should be. It's reflective of your personality and who you are. And it's done, and you're a busy professional. You're exhausted. The kids did something insane. Work is driving you crazy, but you come home to your sanctuary.
Yeah.
That is my job. And so I had to realize that I needed to forgive that client and myself for our end of the bargain in that situation and tap back into the why.
Ooh, girl. That's why forgiveness is so powerful.
Yeah.
It is a gift to us. If other people benefit, that is great.
That's so
But
true.
it is the gift that God has given us to have the opportunity to release and tap back into our why.
That's so true.
And that, it just gives me chills.
Yeah.
That's golden.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So listen, this one last question that we ask everyone.
Yes.
We say, if there's one thing in your adult life that you fear or that you feared and you now have resolved it, what is that fear? How did you resolve it? And what would you tell your younger self if you had an opportunity about that thing?
Wow.
I know.
That is loaded. Wow. Okay, this is a big one. Especially when you said younger self, this is what came to mind. I feared not being good enough. Here I am, a person with a degree in marketing that likes to decorate. And, I'm getting into an industry where there's 3% of the industry is Black, 3%. And I don't have formal education in this discipline. And there was a lot of overcoming imposter syndrome. And so what I want to tell my younger self is that you've always been good enough. And if you operate in excellence with anything, you're going to carry that over to everything you do. And so excellence in marketing, excellence as a mother and a wife, why wouldn't you be successful as a designer?
Ooh, Rasheeda. Ooh, you done dropped the mic on that one. The power of enough.
Yeah.
And so your younger self thanks you.
Yeah.
And I, Dr. Argie, and your soror, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your full self. Thank you for your smile and your agency and your commitment and your conviction. I appreciate you. And we need you to come back. Will you come back?
Oh, I would love to come back. This has been such a blessing. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we all thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
And we are definitely going to have you back on the Ask Dr. Argie podcast.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Yes, to you as well.